Hello, and welcome to another episode of TacoBytes, your daily bite of Degen, episode number 765. No, not 7,000. 765, coming to you live from somewhere, nowhere, Salt Lake City, Utah. And yes, it is 2 a.m. and I am this energetic from, I don't know if it's from all of the energy drinks that I drank, or after an amazing day of permissionless and a night of Karate Combat 50. There was some amazing fights going on. I had a great day for day 3 of permissionless. So we're going to go quick run through on permissionless day 3, as well as Karate Combat, as well as IFC number 5. And we're going to go see what the heck is going on in DeLorean, right? Maybe let's go do that first, as we want to sort of be seeing what's going on here. So we're going to go hop into that infinity screen that we all love so well, because we are on the road and we have not set up our second monitor. We do have a second monitor with us, but we got sort of lazy after we tried to hook up the big screen TV. And so we did not do that. So one of the things where we are going to go look right away is obviously DeLorean Labs, literally 17 hours ago, launched what they will call their new time capsules, a free mint. And so we are going to go straight over to DeLorean, see what that is like. And it is launched on Sui. So really interesting to sort of see how this goes. We haven't done any of this, so we don't know where we got to go. Watch Chris Floyd cook up prizes in the DeLorean lab. Click to play. Let's see what's going on here. We want to go see what's going on here. They inserted. Oh, they didn't even do it. Have you guys seen this yet? Watch this. Yes, that is.
Who are you? Okay.
Little shed there. Notice the shed. Keep tracking that.
It's a time capsule from the future.
What if we can take that? We can't. All right. Powered by Suey. Now, you wonder why I've been talking about Suey now for the last 2 months. I don't know if that has anything to do with anything. So we're going to go click up here where it says a big old voodoo. Okay. Oh, man. Window 2, 3,800 of 3,800 have minted. So we are out. Let's see here. All accounts are currently. We got to unlock because our password is Black Horse. Boom. Let's go see what's going on over here. All right. So we got our Suey. We're going to go log in. Sue Wallet. All right. And we got someone on stage requesting to come up. We're going to make that come up as a speaker. Let's connect. Let's see. We have minted all. Ooh, okay. So first name as always, last name as always. Boom. Oh, you get to see my phone number. Text OTP. Do. Let's see what this OTP is. Let's see. There it is. It is 251635. Submit form. What? Oh. Is that because I have that? What? Submit. Oh, I got to do an email as OTP at the same time. All right. We get this. We see what you're doing here. You're really wanting to make sure we are a real human being. I like that. Continuum 3000 is on stage. GM.
It's 1:15 in the morning for me, but I wanted to play my favorite game, which is Where in the World is Player One Taco?
He is in Salt Lake City, Utah.
You're in permissionless, aren't you?
I am. I'm
getting ready for LA Tech Week on Monday. We have the stage for Continuum Recording Lounge. If you're cool with a quick plug, but we're there all week. So many things to tell you about. Saw that you were on and had to just say hi and just how much I love what you're doing in the space. And when you make recommendations on Twitter, I start following them and finding a consistent compliance capital markets narrative of what you're doing. And I just wanted to give you a shout out and tell you, I see your data points. I see what you're doing.
Nice. How are you?
I'm really good. We're getting ready for a week-long Continuum VIP tour with the investors and innovators. And some amazing things are happening. We're part of the Bit Angels tokenized network. Monday, we're shutting down Ocean Avenue near Santa Monica Pier. So that big iconic landscape is going to be our playground to introduce digital assets to Santa Monica, not only as investors. Mayor Phil Brock of Santa Monica is coming out to explain that the city is not just Silicon Beach for investors, but also for small, medium, and large businesses. They're creating support systems for Santa Monica to be one of those cities that accepts crypto at the level that Miami and Puerto Rico do. So, I've been working with the states and Washington, D.C., and, the red and the blue, and I don't care because we want to see digital assets evolve. Some amazing things are happening this year, and I know that a lot of people are worried about, changes, but I'll tell you that it doesn't really matter who wins the election. There's a digital asset framework for the U.S. and the global cross-border payment systems that we've been working on for 7 years. And we get to announce all of it on camera next week. And so even though it's really late for me, I knew it was you, and I knew you'd want to hear about these things because we get to finally announce our compliance with the SEC and the CFTC in order to prepare everyone for the 2025 audits that are coming. Yay!
Knowledge bomb dropped in the house.
We're
Data
here
points.
We're here to bring it together and say it's not as scary as you might think it is. If you're running a legitimate business, if you're a traditional business exploring digital assets, there's an easy framework to follow. Just don't break the law and understand how to manage a liquidity pool. And Continuum, we actually made it a game. We made a video game. So we're going to be launching our virtual experience on Monday as well. And all of this is going to be happening during November as we do our Seattle Investor Summit. And then we go to Art Basel, and then we go to San Juan for that investor network. So
big question for you. Are you going to be at Tokenize Las Vegas?
I wish I could. I'm going to be. So I'm part of that team. I support Tokenize. I sell sponsorships for Tokenize at Continuum. I'm on their planning team. I was on their planning team for 2 days in a row this week. So I know that team very, very well. We love them. We support everything that they do. Tokenize is going to be at Bit Angels at LA Tech Week on Friday the 18th as part of the Continuum VIP tour. We're very collaborative, and they're going to be in LA for the trip that you're talking about. Unfortunately, side note, I'll be on a road trip for investors in Encinitas, Vegas, and Salt Lake City, so I might make a swing through. But then I'm definitely going to be part of their San Juan trip because it's at the tail end after our Art Basel VIP tour. So much is going to be happening in Q4, and the brands that are really writing checks, they're writing them now.
Yep.
And, it's still, a very good friend of mine that's on the bipartisan U.S. Council, he said today, basically, he's saying that it's very clear. Run a good business. Yep. And Continuum is the only one, to my knowledge, that is saying we collect those data points to endorse you so that someone else at the due diligence level can say, yeah, this guy might be doing things that scare traditional middleman economies from the 80s, but what they're doing with digital assets does not break the law. And we're really excited to provide those resources here in Q4 and going into 2025.
Nice. Congrats. That is awesome. So, let's see here. This week now I'm going to Rhode Island, then I'll be in Denver, then I'll be in Dallas, then I will be in Vegas, then I'll be in Dallas, then I'm going to be in, I think now I'm going to be in Bangkok, and then I'm going to be in Dallas, and then I might be going to Dubai, and then I might be going to Argentina, and then I'm going on the first vacation in like 5 years to Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. And
there you go.
Yeah, and I will be gone until the 3rd of the year. But how that is scheduled out is I am going to be working 5 hours a day in the morning-ish. And so that is what I'm limiting myself to, so that I can say that, the greatest thing about running a daily show, no matter how much you tell your family, it is a daily show. They are like, so you can take a vacation, right? And then you're like, 5 hours a day of work is a vacation. Boop. And there is that.
I think that's a truly entrepreneur spirit right there, where we go 5 hours a day. Man, that's like nothing.
Yeah.
We're so weird. We are so weird in this industry. Hey, I wanted to get a quick rundown, Taco. You've been working with some pretty incredible brands, some new exchanges that are doing international and US and EU things. And I know that you know that I know that you know that I know that you know. But for your audience here, who are your favorite brands right now?
Favorite brands? Like doing what?
So you know me. I mean, I love blockchain protocols, but like, honestly, we've been in the industry so long. We're like, yeah, it's on a ledger. Great job. So the blockchain protocols are usually differentiated with like transaction per second or like capital markets compliance or something along those lines. But then there's a bunch of brands that are now branching out into like blockchain, AI, DPIN, IoT, things that Fortune 500 and like the mobile phone industry are going to be really interested in. And I'm really excited to bring those brands like to the forefront. I think you might be working with Morpheus, or if not, I'd like to intro you to the Morpheus team. But some of these really big data science ecosystems, as they're converging blockchain and AI, are getting really interesting at Continuum.
Sure, I would love an introduction to Morpheus. No, I am joking. I am well plugged into the Morpheus community. Yes.
So talk about what they're doing, because like you're so good at translating it. You know me, I like to be on the super nerd side.
Yeah.
But like translate it for everybody.
All right. So, well,
what you're gonna find in the tokenized community, like it's monster for Fortune 500.
So like, all right, so some of the things like that's really big within the Morpheus community is decentralized agents. One of the biggest parts of that is now coming out and was really talked about. So yes, I am in Salt Lake City at Permissionless. Unfortunately, I missed day one of Permissionless because we had Decentralized AI Day. During Decentralized AI Day, I was a speaker on non-fungible agents and what the power and future looks like of AI agents and the power and the purpose of AI agents and stuff like that, as well as one of my founders, Eric Bravik, speaking on the power of data and the amount of compute needed in the future of some of these things. And so within the Morpheus community, what really set the Morpheus white paper aside was the idea of the More 20 contract, which was then written out. The More 20 contract is an Ethereum staking contract that is built on mainnet ETH that there was like a convergence of moon, stars, and planets that came aligned with technology that allowed for the More 20 contract to be finally not only thought of, but able to be actioned on. And so what it does is it takes staked ETH, ST ETH, that is you get via Lido. And normally if you have ST ETH every day at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you get the emissions, the roughly like 2.8, 3.1% of normal staked ETH. And so instead of you getting that staked ETH deposited in your wallet, it goes via smart contract into liquidity pool built on Uniswap on Arbitrum. And so that happens roughly every 6 hours or so. So one of the things where there's a couple pieces in play here so that it works to defeat the Howey test. One, there is no investment contract. Two, there is no commingling of funds. Your ETH is always your ETH, and you can pull your ETH out at any time. But by you keeping your ETH staked and allowing the emissions to be diverted, your ETH is now working for you. So you're also earning more 20 token. So this was the work behind building up liquidity for the More token, which is now, which just got whitelisted today by Stargate, aka Layer 0 Core. And so you can get ETH, you can get More 20 token on ETH, Polygon, Base, and on its home, Arbitrum. And so by staking your ETH, you can, or providing compute, or by providing code updates to the GitHub, you can earn weights, which will earn you more token. And so by having that more token, there's a lot of different pieces where you get like free inference through like 6079, Wire Network, and inference. For those that might not know, is the basic use of inference is that call to action that you give an AI agent, whether it is that is what that is the terminology used when you are making a call to AI, and the response you get is called inference. And so it is also used in the aspect of checking if data is real. So when tokens are being called back and creating an answer, it's called inference. So by having a More 20 tokens, there's a couple different protocols that give More 20 instant utility. Number one is a protocol we launched with Eric Voorhees, which is called Venice.ai. Venice.ai is open source AI models. And you can get, with the free version, you can get access to Llama 3.2 as well as Nouns Theta 8 billion, which is also web enabled. And if you have a more token in your wallet, or if you pay the $45 for a year, you get the pro version, which gets you Llama 3.2, Llama 3.1, Dolphin, as well as Nouns Theta and Nouns Hermes, both web enabled, as well as a lot of the image generated, top of the line image generated open source AI models. So one of the big things with Venice and with what Eric Voorhees sort of really pushes is data privacy and data ownership. And so all that data is saved in your browser. So you get a big red delete my history button. None of this data is stored on a server, so it's no one's data but yours, which is a really cool piece with that. Some of the other things that are coming out is within like Lumerin, as well as with Wire Network, and some of the information that just came out on Wire Network's labs, as well as 6079's labs just merged. So, so that they could, because they're building in one direction and want to build together. They found that to be easier because they're building separate pieces, but need to work together to build them together. It's like sort of like someone that makes bread and someone that makes hamburger patties. Now you have them all in the same kitchen so you can have hamburgers, rather than them being shipped to a third location that would assemble them. But one of the really cool things that was really information that came out at Decentralized AI Day was the fact that the last node, operator node, God tier, whatever you want to call it, tier 1 node was sold and bought by Yuga Labs for the development and deployment of Ape Chain. This is now a known factor. So this is a little alpha, but it's not like widespread alpha because it hasn't been formally announced. It's been announced, but not like, here's a great big banner. It will be announced at Ape Fest next month. One of the really cool things about that is that the reason why it was a big, easy buy by Ape Chain was because they have a huge partnership with Animoca, as well as a couple other pieces, to where all gas can be free. Now, all of their transactions that they don't use, they can sell to generate a little bit of extra revenue for like Animoca and stuff like that. And so this is a big powerhouse move. People don't yet really understand how big of a move this is. So super excited about that. One of the things that we are doing at Manifest is we've been building out a lot of different token swaps, but the other piece that was announced at Decentralized AI Day is that we did a large token swap with Futureverse. Futureverse also, just released here at permissionless access to Promptopia. Promptopia is literally like an open metaverse game that you can type in what you want and it will be created as a full 3D rendered object live in there. Why does this sound somewhat familiar and might ring a bell from Ready Player One? Because they also now own the IP for Ready Player One. And I'm going to butcher his name. I'm going to say Dan Ewing, the creator and writer of Ready Player One, was also at the booth, signing autographs, pictures, all of the above. Super awesome guy. I got to talk to him, and I was sort of in such a fan moment that I forgot to take any pictures of the moment. But the CEO of Futureverse, Andrew, is amazing. The team is about 200 people deep. Huge backlog of PhDs and all those silly doctorates that people get from having a lot of time building one or two things, but become really, really freaking good at doing it. And so just the whole design team side of things, launching out their Gen AI, which is complete music generation. You can literally hum it a tune of whatever hum you want to hum it, and it will create that song for you. Now, I totally sidetracked there. The other pieces within Morpheus is non-fungible agents. Non-fungible agents are basically an NFT container that owns and holds your own private AI agent. What that means is that you have someone working on chain and on the web on your behalf. And what's really cool is it will interact with other agents on your behalf. And it will always be working to sort of put you first when it's working with other agents. So there's just a lot of cool stuff. And working out some of the Kubernetes cluster stuff and how that's going to be stored is going to be amazing. The other really cool thing, well, I actually can't talk about that. And I cannot talk about Operation Bumblebee. But just know that there is an Operation Bumblebee out there. Bumblebee tuna. So that's some data points.
That's a massive data points. One of the biggest things I heard here has to do, well, it ties directly into my strategy, which is gamification and metaverse. Where do you see metaverse going in the next 12 months, and why should brands who are building with blockchain and AI be thinking about the user journey about how to showcase some of these products?
Well, the metaverse allows for an easy access point for people to sort of like get together, but it also makes a very good visual representation so people can sort of see how different agents interact. And so like one of the really funny things that, came out about a month ago was, I'm going to say it was Stanford, because I think those kids are really crazy, if I remember right. They're really crazy and smart, but they decided to make 100 different AI agents, and all of them put into Minecraft to work independently and doing some really cool things. And so we saw a really big push from those. And yeah, it was pretty awesome, to sort of see how that came about.
So I'm super biased on metaverse because, it's sticky data and it's customizable data and it's own your data where you can turn it on and off. And, there's only a few platforms that are thinking at that level of 2030 development. But I happen to be partnered with one of the best of them over at Omniverse. And really the data in metaverse and the data in these new systems that tokens are running on. You mentioned Morpheus and staking ecosystems and learning ecosystems and rewards ecosystems and builder reward ecosystems. And this is why a lot of blockchain protocols have, protocol grants and foundations and things like that. And you're one of the most plugged in people for all of those things, at least at Continuum. When we talk to our members and they're going, how do I build relationships with the big boys at the top? I'm like, start with building a relationship with Player One Taco. So that's one of your best ways to fast forward in this industry. But I'm excited to showcase what we've been working on, because we took the really long, hard road for compliance and vetted this with 100 lawyers and compliance experts and cybersecurity experts, and then took that body of knowledge to the SEC and the CFTC this year. We now have Crypto Mom on the SEC side and Crypto Dad, the former CFTC chairman, some say the next. So having Crypto Mom and Crypto Dad both endorsing continuum regulatory compliance, which means we look at not just your business model, but all the way down to the transaction. Do you have the licenses that it requires to do the thing you're doing? Especially when it's like real estate or fundraising, like those require licenses to do something legal. But if you're doing like tokenization of real world assets like gold mines in Honduras, like one of our other brands at Continuum, all you really have to do is just register as a security. And that's not a hard path anymore. And the SEC is very interested to look at that because the general rule is you tokenize the valuation of the project, of the company, of the thing you're trying to do. Think it's $1 billion in gold, then you tokenize $1 billion in assets. If your company you think is worth $20 million, you tokenize 20 million tokens. And if you need more tokens later, you issue a second token. And understanding liquidity pool management, asset on the books. Ooh, there's a new law coming, Taco, because 2025 has the clarity, like if you're not registered by January 1st, 2025, then you're not really in compliance for the US, which ties in with, EU MiCA and EU AI laws and all of that. But remember that they quadrupled the budget for the IRS last year.
Yep.
So just know that all of those audits are coming in 2025. Any one of us here on Twitter, that's an API that the US government is definitely tracking. So if you're out there doing bad things, they already know, they already have a case against you. And they have endless evidence to keep going after you. Cybersecurity is real, folks. So be prepared for it. The point I'm trying to make here is at Continuum, not only do we know these things, we have the resources to help your brand get ready for it. We don't want you going to jail. We want you to be able to understand the tax layers. Anyone who's running around saying that there are no regulations is dead wrong. And we built a system to help you guys navigate it because we want innovation in digital assets. These things are not scary. Staking is now something that can be understood. But one of the biggest changes that's going to happen in 2025 is assets on the books. So if you've created a bunch of NFTs and you think that they have value and you haven't sold them, they are on your business books as assets that are taxable. The tax changes are coming state by state. Some states are creating incentives, like, let's see here, short list. Obviously in Wyoming, Kansas and Missouri are coming into it. Texas, not Miami, Florida, thank you. California is trying, but still really high taxes. And Delaware. That also includes Rhode Island, Pennsylvania, New York, and really Washington, D.C. is starting to look at accepting campaign coins, which will change a lot of things for transparency. So this momentum that we're privileged to have at Continuum are things that we really want to bring to the forefront and normalize. Because Taco, I know you've been working for years now to talk about these things are happening and they're incredible and they're not illegal. And Continuum just wants the world to know that we have your back to say, and we have the proof to back them up. So we're ready for it.
Yep. No, there's a lot you touched on. There's two things I want to touch on. Well, maybe three things I want to touch on and go back on real quickly. One, yes, definitely taxes are a big thing. We got to sort of see how much sponsorship sometimes matters to a conference in the aspect of Masari Mainnet this year. And one of, as a lot of sponsors sort of walked away from Masari this year, unfortunately, some sponsors, a little bit more nefarious than others, got to walk their way in. Numero uno being Cryptax Law Freedom or Freedom, whatever. I don't care what their name is. But the gentleman that has claimed that you do not have to pay taxes and you do not have to pay taxes on crypto and never go to jail. And one of my friends, a good reporter, pulled up the incarceration record on day 3 of Masari mainnet and sort of sent that to the Masari team, and the Masari team wiped them completely out electronically from being a participant, which was good. But taxes are real. If you are in the United States, are there a lot of ways to work around them within the current window? Yes, there is. You can look at tracking just via your off-ramping and on-ramping. And if they request the receipts of how you got to those numbers, you can then print off the 10,000 pages of 1 million transactions to show them as those receipts. But your on-ramp and off-ramp is a very good metric right then and there. Just like the IRS does not require what your hourly wage is on things, you can sort of get away with, for now, with just your on-ramp and off-ramp solutions. If they come into the aspect of unrealized tax gains, that's a whole different scenario, but we will look at that when that happens. But if you are looking at something that you wish to give value for being an asset on your books as a business in some way, shape, or form, then that is in itself one of those things you have to look at. But that's one thing I wanted to talk on. The other thing, what was the other squirrel? Squirrel.
Regulatory compliance at the transaction or cybersecurity level?
Brain fart. Big brain fart. Yeah, I'm completely having a brain fart right now. That's what happens when it is 2:42 a.m. and I am degenning after dark. And yeah.
Did it have to do with the protocols that give out grants and how much you are the anchor of that very elusive community in the industry?
Oh, no, it does not. But what I do wanted to bring up was, or random question was, did you see the recent arrests of 25 individuals from 4 of the major market makers, aka CLS, Global, Quant, as well as our great Russian friends over at GotBit?
Yeah, it's hard to justify open market making that is visible to the naked eye. I'm working with the SEC and the CFTC to be able to teach the algos how to understand the subtleties, but when it's that obvious, I mean, these are things that we saw. This is the same old scam of market making, pump and dumps, and my friends buy my stuff and then we sell it at the top to grandma, and then someone else eats it. This is just another scam that's been repackaged, and like the tax people can see this. The cybersecurity people can see this. The FBI knows how to read these things. The SEC and the CFTC are learning how to help with the prosecution cases as well. I think that there's probably a lot of people you and I know in common that are going to get hit in this very first wave and understand there is a massive wave coming every single year. But right now they're going to be going after some names that you and I both know. And I've been in the industry 7 years and people talk. So I know where some of the bodies are buried, and I know where some of the people did really early, nefarious, absolute securities violations and pump and dump and investor fraud and things like that they should not have been doing at the U.S. soil level. They're going to get swept up in the first one, and they're going to get made an example of, because some of them have made hundreds of millions of dollars, if not billions of dollars, on really nefarious practices, and that is coming. I mean, the notices are going to go out in January, and we're already seeing real jail time being given out to people with and, friend of a friend kind of thing.
Yeah.
But by June, it's going to be a very different landscape this time next year. And next year is going to put the fear of God in people.
Yeah, it is going to be an interesting time to say the least. But the number one thing you can do, don't be a dick.
To say, number one thing you can do, run a healthy business. If it has digital assets, I know how to help you explain it, but it's your responsibility to run a good business. It's your responsibility to stand in front of Congress and defend your business model, not mine. I just have the resources to help you do it at Continuum. By the way, you can go to continuum.market for more information.
Or you can also not be a dick and talk to Continuum anyways.
The general rule, but Taco, I work in data science. I'd say 50% of the industry is never going to call Continuum because they don't think they're doing anything wrong while they're flagrantly breaking the law. And then there's 50% of the people that say, we don't want to be associated with those guys. We want to be Continuum.
It is one of those crazy, crazy, crazy things. Yeah. Oh, man. Boo-doo-doo. It is a good day. To be a good day, I think. Yes. So, what else we got going on there, Miss Continuum 3000?
Everything in my life right now is about LA Tech Week next week. We've got about 150 investors coming to learn blockchain and AI. They don't want to be left behind, but they also don't want to get scammed. And so they want to learn how does Continuum vet these projects. So we created a VIP tour all week long that takes us from Monday, where Continuum has the entire recording lounge that came from Cuba Gooding Jr.'s people and has blockchain backing up creators' rights. That is just Monday. We have 5 hours of programming plus 2 hours of on-site interviews. And then moving into Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, there are 3+ activations every day. This is all in LA. You can go to Luma/continuum-stage for the information. I've pinned it here to the top. And if you'd like to be
No, you cannot pin anything to the top, young lady.
Oh, sorry, my bad. Sorry.
No.
I love you. Sorry.
I love
Everyone
you.
has different rules in their rooms. I'm sorry. I didn't thought that was a normal thing.
It is if it is not a Taco After Dark where the video is playing.
Totally, please take it down. Please take it down.
I
see
love
you
you.
already did. Thank you.
I love you. No pinning. No.
Data points.
Ask first, at least.
Apologies. Thank you for taking it down.
I love you. If it,
it's all over my Twitter.
It is all over. If you are listening to this space on Twitter now or in the future ever, follow Continuum 3000. That would be CONTINUUM 3000. Continuum 3000. But the one and only data points.
Thank you, love. I'm going to do some more work, but thank you so much. And man, I miss you, and hope we get to plan for our Basel.
I will be in Argentina, I think, unfortunately.
Look at you, global ambassador. All right, let's see you.
Yeah, I will be going, I think, to the Cardano Constitutional Congress Summit, Constitutional Summit, something like that, because Cardano has now entered the age of Voltaire after the Chang hard fork, and governance is now fully on chain. And it will be a really big push for midnight as well, which is some really cool stuff coming up. And yeah. Boom, boom.
Awesome. Well, while you're in Argentina, brokering global trade, which we all appreciate in the industry, maybe I'll catch you at the tail end and you can pop into San Juan Tokenize and I'll get to see you there.
All right. That'll be good. It's good to hear your voice.
Well, thanks for letting me be up here. And you know how much I love you, and say hi to the fam.
Yeah.
And keep up the great work, because I see what you're doing and I'm following along, and I'm just so excited that you really are pulling together the big dogs and the ones that capital markets are like, Christina, what is it? And I'm like, look at Taco's portfolio here. That's pretty great.
Oh, it's a shit portfolio. I literally just bought three DeLorean time capsules. So yeah. But some on-chain stuff is pretty cool.
You describe your portfolio as your DeLorean time capsules, and I'm like, this man has actual knowledge of what's going on in some of the biggest protocols in the world that are going to impact the next decade. But sure, let's talk about your DeLorean time capsule.
I literally did. I just bought.
I will talk to you.
Yeah.
Call me on my real phone soon.
I will.
Give my link to everyone. I'll talk to you soon.
Good night. Good night. Good night.
Love you. Is that GN then?
It is always a GM, never a GN. Those are saved for special occasions.
Talk soon. Bye-bye.
Bye. Oh my gosh. I love talking to her. She is fun. I met her like 3 years ago at a crazy time in LA during the LA Blockchain Summit. And we just sort of smashed that conference together, and it was a blast. So, as you've seen while we were talking, I did mint out both 3 DeLorean. Well, I didn't mint the DeLorean time capsules because even though they were launched 16 hours ago, they are completely fully minted out at 3,800. Next mint out is on the 19th or 29th, I think is what I tagged. When is it? We got to figure that out. When is the next one? The next mint is the week of October 28th. So that is going to be in the calendars. We will want to get our DeLorean time capsule. You might want to get your DeLorean time capsule as well on Sui, because you could win some amazing things. You could also win a DeLorean. Who would have thought? But as you can sort of see from our great piece, we also picked up a Tradeport key so that we could benefit from what we can see within Tradeport, as Tradeport services both Sui and Aptos. So some of the really cool things we've been seeing on Sui, and we are going to go sort of deep dive for just a quick minute and see what's going on in Suland. Where are we going to go? We're going to go to Suland Swap, see what we're doing there. One of the really cool things that you might have seen started is USDC is now native minted on Sui. So that is some really cool stuff. One of the really other cool things that came about from this recent trip to New York was at Suday was the announcement of Walrus, basically their version of on-chain storage. One of those things that we're going to be working to provide on-chain storage for Sui on Sui for them. That's a lot of fours. I wonder if that's tied to anything. No, it's not. I don't have that type of maybe. Well, maybe. Who knows? But it is a very interesting piece as we get to sort of see what's going on within Sui and sort of where everything is, where we get to claim some rewards as well. So we are ranked 7,594. So there is 7,593 people that are doing more stuff on Sui than us. We're not doing a lot. What we are basically doing right now is providing liquidity, borrowing a little bit because there was a positive yield on borrow because of rewards. And then we take that, mint that into stables, and then redeposit those stables and borrow against those, and then deposit those stables and borrow against those. And so we sort of work to compound points. So we've been doing that both on Suland as well as, oh my gosh, Scallop. Scallop team's pretty cool. I got to meet the team in Korea. I didn't get to see them in Singapore, which made me a little sad. And they were not out at Sue Day. What did I call that? Sui Day? Sue Day? Suda. Sue Day, do day. Dun, 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 dun. But we can migrate our lending positions and stuff like that. So there's some really cool things going on there, which makes us really happy. So you get a good APY, as you can see, for the wrapped wormhole USDC as well as regular USDC. So what we are mostly doing now is we just have some rewards that we get to go after, because that is, are we fully we're going to leave that as is. We're not going to boost, we're not going to bump that at all, but we don't have, I don't have any claim. Pending bonus SCE rewards. We'll find out what's going on there. That we'll see. Oh, I know what we have to do. We have to max out our days. That's what's going on there. And that's why, because we are using wrapped USDC, so we can update that to the new piece and we can sort of see some of the aspects that we're getting there. So super excited with the advent with the X. And as we've seen Sui jump from 93 cents when we did our first video on Sui to over right at $2 right now. No, it was at 87 cents, and so we've seen a lot of stuff going on there. So that has been a huge squirrel moment. We're going to go back to, as we were talking about, boom, shakalaka. We're going to go back to talking. What up, TJ? I see you there. GM, I hope you're doing well. We got to have permissionless day 3. We were a little sad that we missed some of the teams. The Giddy wallet team, we were really sad. But what was really cool is we made a really good connection over at Kraken. And that was really awesome. It's sort of a great way to end the day. We had a lot of different friends over in the XRP Ledger booth, especially carried over from the hackathon. Made some great connections over at Supra. Did a really cool interview with the founder of Supra as well. And then we got to hang out with Brooke Lacey for a moment and go throw axes. And if you're wanting to see how horrible we throw axes together, you'll have to check out that video later on. It will be up. She will probably, I'm going to just put up the raw footage. She will probably turn it into something hilarious. So that is about it for now. As you know, it is now 3 a.m. and Taco needs to sleep. It's not that I want to go to sleep. It's I have to go put myself to sleep. I'm still wide-wired. But at the end of permissionless day 3, we got to go to Karate Combat 50. 50 fights of Karate Combat. And one of their biggest fight cards to date. There was supposed to be 3 influencer fights tonight. Unfortunately, there was only one because 2 of the fighters are from Canada. They were not fighting each other. That would have been nice. But they were both fighting different combatants, and their Hep A tests were required to be sent in last Friday. Canada, being Canada, did not send them till Monday. And so that was a little sad that those 2 fights did not get to happen. But we got to see Kane versus David. And, all the money was on Kane, and David came through and wrecked. Huge shout out to David. Huge shout out to all the fighters. We got to see some amazing fights and takedowns. Blood. Then we got to see some of our amazing friends like Soul Jakey, Solana Steve, Sonny, Doug Hype. We got to spend a lot of time with, which was really that made my heart happy. We got to make some amazingly funny, stupid content. And we talked about some of the made up moves that we didn't know the moves they were called. So we made the names up, like the Uganda Twister butt flip reversal. So that was an important move that had some really good context that you would see when you watch the fights later on. We may or may not have recorded all of the fights and might push them up. So, but that was an amazing time. And I just want to shout out to the entire Karate Combat family. You guys are amazing. You guys and gals are amazing. So that is it for now. And as always, we end with two things: our words of wisdom and the greatest worst knock knock joke on the face of the planet. And that is, our words of wisdom are: a closed mouth cannot be fed, and you cannot feed a closed mouth. Meaning, if no one knows you're looking for opportunity, opportunity can never come a knocking. If opportunity does come knocking and no one answers, it's going to keep on walking. And with that, we say adieu, and we wish you all a great night, morning, afternoon. Shout out to everyone on LinkedIn, YouTube, Player One Taco YouTube, 0xDegens YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Telegram, Rumble, Kick, and on-chain via Unlonely, and on-chain via Soul Media Tech. And have a good night. And as always, knock knock. Who's there?